In my Everything You Need to Know About the Jump Shot video linked in the video description, I cover in detail how to form an elevated bridge, how to easily jump with a dart stroke, how to be effective with a normal elbow up underhand stroke, how to jump effectively over different distances, how to jump with a highly elevated cue, how to control the cue ball with jump shots when playing for position, and even how to execute jump masse shots. In this video, I answer two very important questions. Why do the pros use a sidearm stroke for jump shots? And what do you do when a jump shot is difficult to reach? Have you ever noticed that most pros exclusively use a sidearm stroke for jump shots, with their elbow back and to the side and with the forearm almost horizontal? One reason for this is many pro pool players are short. Here's an example where, because I am tall, I can reach this jump with a normal elbow up underhand stroke. But with a sidearm stroke, it is much easier to elevate the cue. Here's another example where it is very difficult to elevate the back of the cue high enough with a normal stroke. But it is relatively easy to elevate with a sidearm stroke. The main differences are with the stance. The elbow up underhand stance and stroke are a lot like a normal level cue stroke. But the sidearm stance is more open, with the feet, body, and head closer to the cue ball. One downside of a sidearm stroke is your neck needs to twist more to face the shot, which can cause neck strain and discomfort. Another downside is some people, especially those with weak shoulders, might have trouble holding the arm in that position while generating the type of stroke needed. But with a little practice, the sidearm stance and stroke can feel very comfortable and be very effective. With the sidearm stroke, it is particularly important to keep the shoulder and elbow still. Any motion in the upper arm will result in terrible tip position and cue alignment accuracy and consistency. However, if you keep your shoulder and elbow relatively still, you can jump well. Now let's compare the three common strokes for different types of jump shots. The overhand dart stroke is the easiest to learn for most people, assuming you follow the technique advice in my earlier video. It is very easy to elevate the cue, and the stroke is effortless with a dart throwing type motion. The stance is also very open and comfortable at all cue elevations, with no neck twist required. Here's a short jump requiring medium-high cue elevation. Here's the same shot with the elbow up underhand stroke. The stance is much more awkward, although it is easier if you are tall. And here's the sidearm stroke with the more open stance. Here are the same three shots from a different angle so you can better see the stance differences. The stroke is actually very similar for each, with the shoulder and elbow still and the grip and wrist relaxed. The jump is a finesse shot, not a power shot. The action comes from technique, not muscle. Again, see my earlier video for help with this. Here's a longer jump, requiring less cue elevation and more cue speed. Because I am tall, I need to use a lower stance with my feet wider and knees bent a little, but it works fine. Here's the elbow up stroke for the same shot. And here's the sidearm stroke. Here are the same three shots from a different angle so you can again see the stance differences better. Here's a jump requiring more reach. This sort of shot is very easy to reach with comfort using the dart stroke. The normal elbow up stance is very difficult to form unless you are tall like me. Again, the sidearm stance makes it much easier to reach the shot. Notice how horizontal the forearm is here. That's the position you want to strive for. Again, here are the same three shots from the side. Did you see how different the stances are? Now let's look at alternative bridges and stances that can be used when a jump is tough to reach. In my Creative Bridge Options video linked in the video description, I showed many different bridges for elevating and reaching, including a body-supported air bridge, a leg-supported bridge, a tilted-up mechanical bridge, bridging on top of a mechanical bridge head, and bridging on top of a mechanical bridge spanning 2 rails. Those last 2 approaches would not be legal under the WPA official rules of pool since they involve using the mechanical bridge in a way that is not intended. However, it is legal to stack 2 bridges like this. Here's an example of Shane Van Boning using this technique in competition to jump over an obstacle ball using a dart stroke.
Well, it's interesting. He's going to use 2 bridges to jump. Well, this is a shot that you don't see every tournament.
Yeah, and you'd far rather have your opponent shooting it than you.
For highly elevated jumps like this, where you need to get the cue ball up quickly to clear a nearby ball, the dart stroke is the easiest option. If you have trouble getting the cue speed required, you can put your knee up on the table to allow a longer bridge length. It is much easier to get more cue speed with accuracy using a longer stroke. There are also commercially available mechanical bridges that make this sort of shot much easier. This one is called the Easy Jump. More information is available at the link in the video description. Here's a closer view showing how it is used. Unfortunately, under the WPA official rules of pool, novel equipment like this is not allowed, although it might be allowed in some leagues and tournaments. What makes it novel is the tallness, the non-standard support, and the pivoted ring. Regardless, it is a useful tool for learning how to jump since it gives you a stable bridge with a long stroke length so you can work on your stroke technique without having to struggle to form a tall and stable bridge. Give all 3 stroke types a try and put in enough practice to determine which might be more comfortable, accurate, and consistent for you in different situations. Obviously, you need to choose the techniques that work best for you as an individual, regardless of what most pros do. What pros do isn't always the best approach for all individuals. Any of the 3 stroke types can be mastered with enough practice, although, as we have seen, each has advantages and disadvantages in different situations. But the sidearm stroke is the most versatile, working well over a wide range of cue elevations and reaches. I personally prefer the dart stroke for most jumps, although I prefer the normal elbow up stroke for longer jumps with lower cue elevations. I will probably start using the sidearm stroke more now that I've put in some practice. Just remember, whichever stroke type you use, be sure to stay relaxed and keep the shoulder and elbow as still as possible during the stroke. Good luck with your game from Dr. Dave.